Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and it is a fun day today because I got the sisters in the house, and we are going to be recording a Sisterhood Chat for you. Welcome, sisters. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Woohoo! I have Randi, Ida, and Nadine here with me. So let's do a little cycle through so everyone can kind of get to know you. And I know sometimes this is awkward where you're like, who speaks first? But let's just go to you, Randi. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been a part of the Selfish Sisterhood?
Yeah. So I'm Randi. I've been a part of the Selfish Sisterhood since last September, like right after Empower Her. I think I signed up then. So over a year. I currently am in Georgia. I live with my husband, my dog, and my kitties. I got certified as a hormone coach this year, so in a revamping period. So that's a little bit about me.
Cool. And what's your business called?
It's called Happy Hurt Coaching.
Cool. And what do you help women with?
I help women more so try to figure out a way to balance their hormones like in their lifestyle, but I focus a lot on like sex drive, acne, and nutrition because I feel like those are three things that women don't talk about a lot and need guidance with.
Yeah, and Randi just did a workshop in our sisterhood too, and it blew my mind some of the facts that were in there that I was like, I didn't even know that. That's so crazy. And if you were at Speak Up, Randi was on the panel there too, so she talked about her hormone coaching at that event too. So, wow, I'm so glad you're here, girl.
You too.
Ida, you want to go next? Pass it along?
You always say that this is such the hardest question to ask. And I have a
I
podcast
know.
too, gather around the table, and everybody says the same thing. So now I have to introduce myself, and I'm like, what do I say?
It's uncomfortable, right? But
Yeah.
take up some space, girl.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Ida. I live in Illinois, south of Chicago, and I'm a preschool 4 teacher. So I do a lot of zipping coats, telling kids, get your hands off each other, and a lot of the fun stuff, but it's exhausting. But it's the best thing ever. And yeah, I have a podcast and do all that fun stuff on the side too. I've been in the sisterhood, I think since the beginning. When was
Yeah.
Confidently You? 2 years?
Since the beginning.
2 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's literally crazy.
I know, it is crazy.
It's been so long. But it's just been so cool to follow Jess along, and I love her podcast too. So it's kind of crazy. I'm also on the podcast now as well.
Isn't that so cool?
I think I told you, right? I like memorize your intros and you say, welcome to Selfish Confidence Podcast. And I like say it with you. So it's fun driving in the car.
I think that's
Talking
the
along with
funniest
Jess.
thing. I remember one time when I changed the intro too, and I didn't tell you, and you were like, "Excuse me, what just happened?" And I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. That was
Every
fun to
time I
play with
learn
you.
it, you change it. So
Well,
thanks.
maybe another change is coming, so buckle up, sis.
See. We'll see.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're here, Ida.
Thanks, me too.
Nadine, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Nadine. I live in British Columbia, but as everybody in the sisterhood knows, I'm relocating to the East Coast.
Woot woot.
So a bit about me. I'm an avid traveler. I'm a cat lover, a wine enthusiast, and I'm actually, believe it or not, a grandmother and a stepmom of 5. So yeah, things are busy, but I am a business owner. I own Just Breathe Virtual Assistant, and I also consult in sales at Blue Consulting. But yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Been
say,
with it
woot
for
woot, granny in the house.
I'm a young grandmother, so don't judge.
I know, I love it. I
Yeah,
love
but
it. It's
so
always a
much
cool
fun.
fact too, like a cool thing to be like, "Hey, I'm a grandma," and you're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know."
Yeah, she is the spirit that I always hoped that I had. So yeah, it's
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met you at Empower Her,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
kind of like verbally tackled Jess. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, "Hey, you're Canadian. I'm Canadian, and we're in Denver right now, and we need to connect. Like, this is a thing that has to happen." And then I think I joined the sisterhood like shortly after that. So yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that because there's not many Canadians who go to those things. So like when I meet one, I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Like it's
Yeah.
just a nice thing to have that connection, you know?
Yeah, it was really cool because like the whole weekend people are like, "Oh, you have to meet Jess. Oh, you have to meet Jess." I'm like, "But where is Jess? I need to meet Jess." And suddenly she was right there.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was
It's
good.
all it was meant to be. And yeah, Nadine's trying to get over to my coast, get away from that other one and come back
Yeah.
over here, which is I think the right decision. The best coast. I would
Yeah,
like everyone in the sisterhood to move here in person, please.
it's a big decision, but I love being in the sisterhood, even though I'm like on the West Coast, but being on the East Coast will be that much better for the family and just to be closer to the sisterhood, of course.
Yeah. What's really cool this morning too is that we span over 4 different time zones. So like I'm as far east and Nadine's as far west, and then we have Randi and Ida in the middle in 2 different time zones too. So I think that's one of the really cool things about the space. It's that it's totally virtual, so you can come in from anywhere. And even though it's lunchtime here for me, it's breakfast for Nadine, and it's just an interesting ride to be able to kind of connect wherever you are in North America. And even beyond that, if you are listening to this and you're beyond that, you're welcome. But for the most part, North America, which is pretty cool. So let's dive into a few questions. So we do these things in the sisterhood called these sisterhood chats where we get to hang out and talk about different things. And oftentimes they're, about things going on in our lives, about, maybe even what you ate for lunch or what you're doing for your Christmas shopping or whatever it is for you. But today I have a few questions that'll just kind of give you a little insight into these incredible women who are here hanging out with me today. And the first one is if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be? Does anyone want to go first?
I can go first.
Go ahead.
Ready? Okay.
Sweet. Give it to me.
So for me, like coming out of high school, like not gonna lie, it was a bit of a struggle. I went straight to university. So if I could look back to my 18-year-old self, I think I would tell her just to be smarter with money. And just to, if nothing else, but to not let it get away from my family dynamics, because in my college years, is kind of where I kind of parted a little bit of space with my family, which was really unfortunate. We've rebuilt that relationship now, but a lot of it centered around money, and I think that's a big thing. And for me, I would just tell her not to party so much, in college, but it was the things that I'd learned and just that kind of thing. And yeah, that was a big one. I struggled quite a bit. I did use the food bank as well, and then I did get smarter over time, and now I'm a business owner. So, from the beginning to the end, there's room for growth, but it's okay. But yeah, I tell her to be smart with money, and also to do her science elective early. That was a big one.
That's some good advice. That's some good advice for
Yeah,
her. It's interesting
yeah,
too to look back. Like I often think like, well, if I did it differently, I wouldn't be where I am today. But I could
yeah.
totally see how an early investment in money would be like a great asset to have right now. Because you'd be like, oh, I didn't make those stupid decisions.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of like I didn't graduate from university, which is a big regret of mine. But at the same token, when people ask me if I would ever go back and do that, no, because I'm a different person now. I'm like on a different career path. I'm a business owner, so I don't need to go back because I was studying to be a teacher. So that's not really my path anymore, right? So there's wins on both sides. But looking back, if I had that one science elective, I could have that degree, but no, it's okay.
I like that. That's good. What about you, Randy? Go ahead.
I like that, Nadine. It made me think of that for some reason that just made me think of a meme. You know, the memes that are like, I should have used my lunch money in eighth grade to buy a house.
Yes.
That's what that made me think of. Oh man. Well, mine didn't have to do with that. Honestly, I thought about this and I told my husband, I was like, man, I don't know what I want to say. I think the biggest thing is, and it took me to what, a year and a half ago to figure this out, but I was doing everything that everybody else wanted me to do. So like I did go to university and I'm glad, like I don't regret it at all. I got my bachelor's and master's in 4 years. So like I can't complain there, but it's just like I think about some of that stuff in that first couple years and I just wish that I had said no. I probably would have majored in the same because I don't think at 18 I would have been able to deprogram myself that quickly, but um, it's just I wish I didn't, and I was so focused on other things that when I picked my job after I graduated, my goal was just to get out of Florida just due to the circumstances that I was in. And I wish I focused more on like what I actually felt right on the inside because I'm still stuck like in that career. And it's really hard to get out of since most people aren't gonna if you even if you have 12 years of experience, if it's not in that field, they don't, listen to you. So it's like one of those things where I wish that I would have tried to figure that out more, but it's so hard at that age. But I was literally just listening to what everybody else was saying. I wasn't even trying to sit down and be like, even a pro cons list, like what does Randi actually want? All I had was out of Florida. And so, I mean, I did that, but but I feel like I'm suffering the consequences now. So I wish I could go back and just be like, sit in a room and be like, what do you want? Like, what, forget everybody else, but like, what do you want other than leaving the state? So,
If you were that 18-year-old version now, like let's say, like you could go back a Freaky Friday or something, and you could decide what you want to do, what would it be?
someone asked me this question the other day, and I'm like, I have no good answer because I still don't, like, I feel like I still don't know. Like, I know I started my own coaching business this year, and it's been really great. And I hope that explodes to be my full-time job one day. That would be amazing. Um, but I can't say that that's like what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I feel like that's why it's just so hard at college for these kids to pick one thing. I think it's just more of like I didn't understand values and I had no idea that like going into like I worked for Amazon post college, like going into an environment like that, like what it would do to my mental health and my body and like how it could impact fertility, mental health, like the whole gamut. Like, how was I supposed to know that when I turned 18 and then 21 when I left school? And I think it would just be more of like, I knew that I wanted something slower paced and that there was nothing wrong with wanting that, but I felt like I had to pick something that was like extremely on the go because my body only knew fight or flight, kind of only still does now, but it's like I'm still unprogramming that and it's really difficult and I feel like a lot of women relate to that, but I think it would just be more of like not what specific field to go in, but it's just like different things to look out for that I didn't even attempt to until like probably 2 years ago.
Yeah. And even the pace that we go at, like you said, like to go into a field that's go, 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 go felt natural. And I think for a lot of us, that's the case. It took me years and years and years of deprogramming that too, because that's just what we grew up with. That's probably how our parents worked and,
Yep.
how everyone around us works. So we're supposed to go at that pace too. But I love that we're opening the doors to a slower pace, a slower environment, slow down season. I know you're in your craziest of busy seasons right now, but
Mm.
maybe in the new year we could slow
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. I love that, Randy. That's really good advice. How about you, Ida? I know 18 wasn't that long ago, so
I know, right? Like 8 years ago. If you asked me this question in what, 10, 20 years, it might change. No, but I would say the same thing as Randy did. My birthday's in September. So I have a late September birthday. So I was just going to college, community college. I don't know if you guys have community college, local college, 2-year programs in Canada. I was homeschooled pretty much my whole life. So I turned 18 and here I am being I mean, not thrown off. It was part of a choice, but I still remember like where I was and like the whole scene when my mom told me like, oh, we're gonna put you in therapy. You don't know what you and like I was like, there's something wrong with me. So I think 18 too, like I would just tell myself one about college and I had no idea what I wanted and what was going on and what I know now. And I'm not even technically using my degree. I don't even know what I learned about communications and radio, TV, and film. I failed my math test. I hated my 80 in biology class, but there was good friends. I mean, you never know. Like there's so much more life after college, so much more friends after college, so much more experiences after college. And I would also say therapy's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with you when you go to therapy, you go to coaching, you go to life coaching, whatever. So
Mm.
I I think it's really cool that we've all come up with the same theme. Like I have like two of my stepkids are in their teens, and my niece and my nephew are also in their teens. One just went to university. And the one thing that I relate to them is exactly what we're talking about is your decisions now, you have to do the best decision for you, not what your family wants you to do, not what people expect you to do, but what you want to do. And I know that my nephew, who just decided to stay local in New Brunswick to university there, he struggled with that because there was so many options for him, but he did what was best for him and what that looks like 3, 4 years, 10 years from now. We'll see how it goes. But he can always change his mind, and that's okay. And that's something that I didn't know when I was his age. And I think that if you're a teen and you're listening to this, it's okay to not really know, but just whatever feels right in your gut is the right decision for you right now.
Yeah, one step forward. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the right step, it's just like one step.
And
For
school's
me,
not everything.
yeah. I always think about this too. Like 18-year-old me was dating the wrong guys, was doing all of the wrong things. And I always think now, knowing that I met the love of my life at 21, which is so great to be young and to meet someone that special. I'm just like, 18-year-old you, like, don't waste your time with these little boys. They suck. Like, there is a really good person coming for you. And I often think about that. Like, and had I not gone to university, I would have never met him. Caitlin, who's also in the Sisterhood, is who introduced me to him. And we went to university together. And I always think about, like, 18-year-old me, like, dating the wrong people and knowing that someone really wonderful is coming. Why waste your freaking time? Is the biggest one.
Yeah.
So,
But you have to go through the frogs to get to the prince, though, is what I've always told.
I know that's what they say, but I guess. But there are good ones out there. There are good ones out there, I promise. What about if you were to win $10 million tomorrow? Like lottery's coming, Christmas is coming, $10 million. What would you spend it on? Let's go through the cycle again. Do you want to do Nadine first?
Sure. Yeah. For me, that was kind of a tough one because I was kind of pulled in two different directions. So I have endometriosis and rheumatoid arthritis, and I really find that since I've been diagnosed with those, that there's very little funding and investment towards learning more about it. I know Randy and I have talked about endo. It's kind of one of those things that I truly don't really know much about. So I'd love to fund some research with that. And then, of course, just like my stepkids, just fund some college funds for them and my granddaughter, and then just go on an epic trip with everybody. Like, truly, I think that kind of would do it, and then invest the rest.
Where
Save some
would you
money for
go?
later. Um, I know that Europe's kind of something that I've always eyed. I went for my 40th birthday. I went to Spain, which was epic. But I'd like to see more of it. I like the castles and everything, and maybe do a river cruise or something, but just
Ooh,
take the whole family together. I think that'd be really fun.
that'd
So
be super fun.
yeah,
Can all the sisters come too?
yeah, absolutely. But we'll see. Maybe I'll charge you a little bit. I don't want to
Okay.
waste all the 10 million.
I get it. I get it. That's good. We're just want to come.
Yeah, I'll just buy the boat and then we can all join.
Yes. Perfect. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm putting all the eggs in that basket, Nadine. And then she's gonna move out east, so then it'll be
Yeah,
perfect.
exactly. We'll just
Awesome.
do a cross-Atlantic trip and just do all of Europe on this boat.
Yeah. I like that. Randy, what about you? 10 million, baby.
I would buy like a second house in North Georgia, like in the Blue Ridge Mountains somewhere. If I could live there right now, I would. So I'd go there, probably rent it out, then I could still make money from it. That obviously would not be the whole 10 million because I don't think I'm like, if I had that much money, I don't think I'd ever buy it on one thing. That's crazy. But anyway, I would have that. And then kind of to Nadine's point of like setting money aside for potential kids' colleges or something like that. My husband really wants to have more land too, like in this area. So maybe more land. Um, in stuff that like could potentially make us money later. Like those type of investments. I don't even Like maybe stock market things, but I think like real estate and stuff like that is probably what I would do. Also trips, like we actually just booked a trip for Ireland next summer. So I'd love to do more stuff like that. But I would do like Australia, New Zealand if I like had unlimited funds, because like I think you need about like 3 weeks to do that. Can't really take 3 weeks off work. So if I had the funds, that would be really awesome. But I would also quit my job. I would quit my job. So that would be really nice.
Is that like the first thing you do? Just like call your boss and be like, I'm out, bye.
Yeah, some of my coworkers and I had talked about that. Like if we won the lottery, we would just literally send a message and be like, "Good luck." And that's what I would most certainly do. Like not at 2 weeks. Like I'm gonna see you never.
I love that.
Yep.
Sweet. And are you gonna go to the Christmas markets? I know we've talked about that a lot.
Yes. I would most
Yeah.
certainly go to the Christmas markets one year in Europe during that time. They have like cruises that you can take for the Christmas markets. Like we can rent that boat and
Sweet.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's all come together,
Yeah.
Ireland and everything, right?
Send me all the
Great.
pictures of the koalas and the kangaroos and tell me what you think
Mhm.
about all the food and everything.
Yeah. See, I love dreaming. This is fun.
Yeah.
Ida, what are you doing?
Okay, wait, one question for Randy. They're on the complete opposite season as we are, right? So they're coming in
They are.
December. So they're like complete opposite of us. That's wild.
Yeah, it'd
Different
be
time
weird.
zone.
Yeah.
But I think what Nadine and Randy said, like investment's so good, real estate is so good when you have money and it just brings a lot of money in later down the road. But I would definitely want to travel. I would come to Canada for all of Jess's events that I never get to go to, get my passport, go see Jess. It would be amazing, meet all the sisters. And I just feel like there's so much of the United States that I've never been to either. My dad's been going to Italy a lot too. So take
Cool.
my dad to Italy, take my family to Italy. So just a lot of traveling.
And that would be really good content for your podcast too, because you could be like, gather around the table. We'd
Yeah.
be eating some
Yeah.
meatballs here in Italy.
Yeah.
And
It'd
then
be pretty
best
great.
podcast episode.
Gelato, bread, olive oil. I don't drink wine though, but I heard the wines there pretty good too.
That would be fun.
I don't drink at all, but when I was in Italy and we went to a farm and they handmade everything, pasta, sauce, wine, the whole 9 yards, I was like, well, I have to try it. So I tried it and I was like, this is juice. What are we talking about? Where is the alcohol content? It was like I was like, wow, no wonder they drink all the wine there because it's so much better than anything I've even attempted to drink here. It was so good.
Yeah. Wine in moderation is actually pretty healthy for you. And so the research shows, like, we're not talking like a bottle of red wine, but if you have a glass at dinner, that's okay. And, that's kind of the difference between some of these European countries and why some of their health issues are a little bit different than ours.
Interesting. I'm really excited for all these trips.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to win the lottery. Those will be good times. I've always had this dream of like building like a short-term rental on the lake, but like my house is there, but like the short-term rentals are also on the land, but I can't see them because you guys know I like to spend a lot of time alone. So people could be there, but they're like, I can't see them. And I have this vision. There's a piece of land not far from here that I would love to do this. And I probably don't even need 10 million, but the extra money would be great. And then we'd build some like hiking trails and biking trails in the woods. And then when you guys come up, when you visit, and Ida finally gets her passport, I'd have places for you to stay. I'd be like, come stay in my little tiny houses we have over here. It'd be a good time. I call it the fairy forest, and like it'd just be like secluded, and you could be naked if you wanted. If you want. I don't know why that's where that went. But if you want, no one could see you. It'd be totally private, is my point.
Yeah.
Not a
Sounds like
nudist
a perfect
colony.
retreat. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
perfect retreat, just goddess of the moon, type scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be so good. That's the future plan, hopefully someday. But if I win the lottery, it's gonna be tomorrow. So, and yeah, sure, maybe I should save some money for this little baby that's coming, but whatevs. Think about that later. That's fine. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? This one's a hard one. This one's a really hard one. I remember the last time we did the Sisterhood Chat with a few of the sisters, this was like one of those things I was like, I don't know. Like, what do I want to be remembered for? But Nadine, do you know if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Yeah, I have a hard time with this one, to be honest with you. I think I think it goes back to confidence, and that's probably the reason why I had such a hard time because for the last couple of years, I've been healing from my burnout, and I have to say that at this point, I'm still healing, but I've healed and it's been a long journey post, separation, post layoffs and everything and creating my business. But I think just making a difference with other entrepreneurs so they don't get to that point, I think that'd be a good one. And just be meaningful for someone. Whether it's little or big, just that, I was meaningful for them in whatever period that was. I think that would make a big difference for me because it could be anything small between buying a coffee to somebody randomly one day, and which I tend to do when I'm out and about, or just, having conversation that actually helps someone. So I don't know what that looks like, but that's kind of what I would want to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And you are meaningful in the sisterhood, so you've already made that impact. So we are so
There you
grateful
go.
that you
Absolutely
exist.
grateful for you guys.
I love that. Randy, what about you?
I think for this one, the biggest thing that came to my head is like if people were to think about me, it would be like, well, she tried, like I mean, who knows what life's gonna bring, right? Like, no clue. Like, obviously, I would love to sit here and be like, my business is gonna make me 200K a year, I don't know, and be able to like self-run and have my husband retire. But it's like, who knows what it brings, but it's like, at least I tried. I'm trying to like I guess go against society's standards of what I think we like actually have to do to live our lives. And I think one of the biggest things I always get is so many people are like, you did it. Like you started the business, maybe it's not where you want it right now, but I just went home this past weekend and that was the biggest thing I got was like, that's so awesome that you started it. So it's like, you know, Randy tried. If Randy could try, then like I can try too. I don't know what the end looks like, but we're walking down some path.
Yeah, I love that. And even just like, yeah, knowing that you tried too, like being proud of yourself with that. Because I think we often think, oh, well, I failed because I didn't get there yet. But like, you're doing the damn thing, and that's so freaking cool.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I feel like that's a good thing to remember it for. I love that. What about you, Ida? What do you
This
want
one
to be
was the
remembered for?
hardest question. I had
I know.
literally no idea what it was going to be. But you always say that you get the best ideas driving or in the shower. So I got my best idea driving home from work yesterday. And I think I would say like how I made somebody feel
Hmm.
and like what they think of me or like how I made them feel and what our relationship was like, our friendship like, and how I'm confident, shining my light, whatever. So how I made somebody feel.
Oh, yeah. Where you're like totally being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would already say that too about you, Ida.
Mm. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I love that. I think for me too, it'd be just about like being remembered for like the love. Like, hey, oh, she gave good hugs, or like she loved me, period. And like not in a creepy way, in like a really nice way. I think that would be the thing I'd want to be remembered for, just like how much you can love. So next is like, what do you love about the sisterhood? So how you guys feeling? What do you love about the sisterhood? Go ahead,
Oh
Nadine.
my. What, I think that the sisterhood has brought something like it's really dear to me, to be honest with you. At first I was like, oh, I don't know, like maybe I should just kind of heal on my own, but in a way, I'm still healing on my own, but it made night and day difference being in the sisterhood during that time. I don't think I'm gonna cry, but I don't think that I would be where I am today without Jess and the girls in the sisterhood because um going through a burnout is if you've gone through it, it's not easy. But knowing these like-minded women were always in my corner, no matter what, made a world of a difference. And I can't say enough positive things, and it just seems so odd to say that, but um I if you meet me in public, you would think I'm like a super confident person, which I am on the outside, but I'm still healing and I'm still partially broken on the inside. And growing out of that takes a while, and I'm still doing that the work and doing that process, but it's that much better to have these ladies in my corner. Sorry,
Yeah.
didn't mean to
We're
get
so
emotional.
grateful to have you in our corner too. I think
Always.
I think that's the coolest thing about like these spaces too. It's just like a space where you can come, and if you're broken or if you're, figuring things out or whatever it is, and you could fall apart in a call and we'd be like, "Hey, what's up? I'll pick up your pieces. Don't you worry." Because I always feel like I can come as myself, and that I don't think it happens in a lot of spaces. And it's like you could literally show up in your underpants and we'd be like, "Hey, what's up, sis? How you doing?" You're like,
Yeah.
"Not great." And I'm like, "Okay, let's talk about it." And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. So I'm so glad you're part of it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Nadine.
Grateful for you guys.
How about you, Randy? What are you loving?
Very similar to what Nadine said. I think, yeah, it was like a place that I could come like after a really bad day at work or something and know that for that hour that we were on that call, I was going to feel good. And it may be the only hour of the day that I felt like that. So it's nice to have something like that. And I live in a small town, and it is so hard to make friends like in a physical space. And like, you try so many things, but even having like the virtual friendships and like being able to like know the ladies better through that felt like it was filling a hole that I couldn't find here and still really haven't. And like going to like speak up and like having the opportunity to speak on the panel, it's just nice to be in a place where I feel like people are helping me get to my dreams. Like if I'd never met you, Jess, like I don't know like how my business would be right now because it's been such a pivotal part of it. So yeah, it's been really great.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who come, especially from rural communities and even for a lot of us, we know making adult friends can be really hard. And um, it is nice to have a space where you can come and make friendships, even if we can't like hold hands, because obviously
Yep.
we're very far apart, all of us, and we can't hold hands right now. But I wish that'd be so fun. But it is just nice to be able to come and yeah, be you and hang out and connect. And I'm so grateful to have you in the sisterhood and for you to be a part of it and for you to even trust us with part of your journey and things that you've shared in that space. Like I'm just really grateful. And sometimes even sitting here just listening to this, like I'm crying over here now too. And I'm like, damn, hot diggity dog. I didn't plan to cry this morning either. So thanks, guys. What about you, Ida? What are you loving?
I don't think
Especially
and
you've been
oh,
there
go ahead.
from the beginning.
Yeah. I don't think any of us would be here, right? If we didn't love Jess and Jess wasn't our favorite part of the Selfish Sisterhood. Like Jess is so awesome. She just creates all this stuff for us.
Stop. I can't
But
handle this. I'm hormonal.
I'm like what 2 hours behind you, I think.
Yeah.
Um, in a completely different country, so I can't go to everything, be a part of everything, but morning club is my jam. So
Mm,
even if I'm on morning club for 30 minutes, it's a pretty good day.
yeah. Yeah, it is. And I do notice this too. Like, I think Nadine, I think you might be extroverted, but for a lot of us, like we're introverted people, spending time at home with our pets is the best. That's what I've been doing all day. And it is a space that I feel like introverts feel really welcome to come to because it can be in the safety of your own space. And of course, there's opportunities for there to be moments for you to be around people, like coming to speak up or, coming to a social or whatever. But it does push some of us introverts into a space where we can like actually use our voices and actually practice being ourselves where we don't always do that because we tend to hide in a corner and not for bad reasons. We just like to protect our energy and feel peaceful. So I'm yeah, really, really grateful, Ida, especially that you've been trusting this journey for so long in this space and that you're a part of it too. And to see your face in the morning club is so much fun. So what a
Morning club is the
journey.
best. Makes such a big difference, especially if you're working at home. Like I worked at home since COVID, post like during my corporate career and now. But it feels lonely after a while, just always working at home. And sure, you interact with clients and some of your colleagues and stuff, but it's really lonely. And like Randy said, like if you don't live in the big city center, it's harder to make those friendships. So the morning club just makes that connection without, we don't talk to each other during morning club, but just having those ladies there and just saying, okay, I'm going to jump on for that little bit and just kind of get my mojo going for the day, right? Makes a big difference.
And if it wasn't for Nadine, we would still be ending at 10 a.m. She's like, hey, can you guys extend it a little bit for us on the Pacific Coast, please? I'd like to join. And so now we hop on, well, till noon my time, which is 8 a.m. Nadine's time. So yeah, it's extended now thanks to Nadine.
Yeah, just, us West Coast ladies just need a little bit of love too. So I asked Jess and it's been working out really good. And it's just an hour for us West Coast, but it makes a big difference, especially when you're working at home. So
yeah, definitely. So you get to start your day early. I get to go all day with you guys until lunch. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so grateful for all of you here, for all of you being a part of this community and for sharing your light. Like, honestly, without you, this space wouldn't be what it is. And I am incredibly grateful for each of you and for your impact in the sisterhood and also just for your impact in my life. Like, I truly do mean that with my whole heart. Without you guys, I would not be smiling this big this morning. Can we do a little like, where can people connect with you online? So if someone was like, oh, I want some, virtual assistant work, I want to listen to your podcast, I want to check out your hormone coaching, where can people connect with you online? Do you want to start, Nadine?
Yeah. So for me, as believe it or not, I'm new to Instagram, which is really crazy. It was a big step for me, but just breathe_VA is on Instagram now. And I've been, really smart about being active. Social media and me aren't the best of friends, but I'm getting there. But if you do want to work with me, definitely reach out on Instagram, or I do have a website as well, which Jess can put in the notes, where you can book a one-on-one and we could just have a chat and see how it goes. But I'm always around.
Yeah, Nadine is like not into social media, but she would be for you. If you want to connect, she would.
Yeah, with the business, I've been a little bit more proactive. I think it's because of my corporate career, I did socials for my business and other businesses, but just for me personally, it was just that transition that had to happen. So we got there.
Nice. I love it. Randi, where are you at?
I'm on Instagram at Happy Her Coaching. So if you want to reach out to talk about hormones or wellness or anything like that, you can find me there. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. So just follow me or send me a DM and we can go from there.
Amazing. And Ida?
I didn't realize how tricky my Instagram handle was until I was doing
It's
this.
a little tricky.
Sorry, I'll send just the link and she can put it in the show notes, but it's my name is _Ida, and it's IDA, and my podcast is Gather on the Table.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. And yes, I'll put everything in the show notes to connect with these amazing women. And if you're not in the sisterhood and you're like, I want to meet these people, send them a DM, connect with them. Like, they would love to chat with you, and they're absolutely incredible. They have incredible messages to share. So I'm just so grateful for you. You guys have all turned my rainy day over here into like the brightest, happiest day ever. So I love you all. If you guys want to unmute and say see you later, but I'm so glad that we could record this today. Thanks for being here.
Thank
It was so
you.
much fun.
What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.